Imagine a facility capable of incubating 30,000 babies a year. In this pitch, prospective parents could use virtual reality headsets to watch their child grow and pick their eye color or physical strength through a smartphone app. But this viral ecto-life facility doesn't exist. It is a concept animation created by a filmmaker, completely detached from actual medical science. Real artificial womb technology is not being designed to replace natural pregnancy or mass-produce humans in vats. It is a highly specialized rescue operation. For the thousands of infants born extremely prematurely each year, before 28 weeks of gestation, mortality rates exceed 30%. This technology is being engineered specifically to keep them alive. When a baby is delivered this early, they are rushed into intensive care and immediately hooked up to a complex web of tubes and ventilators. At 24 weeks, an infant's lungs are still in an early stage of development. They are essentially solid tissue, completely unequipped to process atmospheric oxygen. To keep them oxygenated, doctors have to force pressurized air into those fragile lungs. This mechanical ventilation keeps the baby alive in the short term, but the pressure tears the delicate lung tissue, leading to chronic respiratory disease. To avoid that damage, doctors realized they needed to stop the infant from taking its first breath at all. The medical team has to effectively reverse the delivery. They need to return the infant to an aquatic, fluid-filled environment so its organs can finish growing exactly as they would inside the mother. This requires a procedure currently referred to in trials as the aquawomb protocol. Surgeons must transfer the fetus directly from the mother's uterus into a specialized, fluid-filled transfer bag. The medical team has exactly 3 minutes to complete this transfer and connect the umbilical cords to an artificial system. If they miss that window, the baby's natural reflexes take over, it gasps for atmospheric air, and the lungs are compromised. This diagram shows the Biobag, a sealed enclosure with continuously circulating synthetic amniotic fluid, replacing the mother's uterus. It maintains 37 degrees Celsius and regulates internal pressure between 5 and 10 millimeters of mercury, ensuring the lungs are fluid-filled but never overstretched. But a warm fluid bath is just a structural shell. The hardest engineering problem is finding a way to get oxygen directly into the infant's bloodstream while it remains completely submerged. In the 1960s, researchers tried to solve this using early cardiopulmonary bypass machines, hooking animal fetuses up to external mechanical pumps. These early setups failed. The mechanical pumps generated massive vascular resistance, which forced the tiny, fragile fetal hearts to pump against enormous pressure until they failed entirely. Modern systems solved this by eliminating mechanical pumps entirely, using a near-zero resistance, passive artificial membrane. The system is driven exclusively by the infant's natural heartbeat. The tiny baby pumps its own blood out through the umbilical cannulas, across the oxygenator, and back into its body. By mimicking the precise flow of a biological placenta, researchers successfully kept extreme premature lambs alive for up to 28 days. The animals grew normally, developed healthy lungs, and even opened their eyes. Because of these consistent animal results, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration convened a specialized pediatric advisory committee in late 2023 to review the safety and ethics of this technology. The timeline for clinical translation is aggressive. Multiple research centers are preparing to launch Phase 1 human feasibility trials as early as 2025. Moving this to humans introduces a complex new category in medical ethics. Bioethicists have proposed a specific term for an organism in this state, the gestatling. A gestatling exists in a physiological paradox. Biologically, it is still a fetus, relying entirely on an umbilical cord for oxygen and nutrients. Geographically, it is completely external to the mother. This decoupling of the fetus from the mother's body challenges established legal frameworks. If an infant can be reliably sustained outside the uterus at 22 weeks, it disrupts the traditional definitions of fetal viability that underpin abortion jurisprudence worldwide. Beneath the heated legal debates and the dystopian science fiction rumors, the core purpose of this technology is highly specific. It is a physiological bridge, engineered to give the most vulnerable infants a few extra weeks to finish growing so they can finally take their first safe breath.